And now it's time to preview an upcoming game.
Hello my friends, it's the Game Boy Geek here. Today we're going to be amphibians. And we're going to be hopping all about, all around, all over logs, all the way down so we get to the swamp. And once we get on the swamp, we're going to be jumping on lily pads. But once we get there, we're going to be breaking out some weapons, and there's going to be some combat because we're fighting over these lily pads. We're talking about Bullfrogs here from Thunderworks Games. It's 2 to 4 players. It takes about 30 minutes to play. It's a tactical little card placement and combat game. Let's check it out. I'll show you how it's played, and I'll see you on the other side. Okay, we're set up for Bullfrogs. This is me. I'm the yellow player. We have 2 Bullfrogs with their cylinders and 14 frogs with their cubes. Now again, since this is a preview, all the artwork and all the components are not final. Things can change from now to when it comes out. I also do know that there's going to be one of the first few unlocking bonuses is going to be actually molded frogs and bullfrogs as opposed to cubes and cylinders. So I know that's one of the first goals that after it's been funded, the earliest stretch goals are going to have sort of those types of things. So I have a player aid. I have a stack of cards. And I have taken those cards, shuffled them up, and I pulled the first 3 off my deck, and I have 3 cards. This game is very simple. Essentially, you're going to play one of the 3 cards that you have. You're going to take an action, or actions, and then we're going to score if possible, and then we're going to draw a new card from your deck. That's the whole game. Let's show you how it works. Well, here's one of the 3 cards that I have, and notice that they have different amount of lily pads, a different amount of points that you'll get if you're able to score this card. Also in the upper left-hand corner are the amount of lily pads. That's how many actions you'll get when you play this card. So let's say we were going to play this one here that has 2 action points on it. Here's how the game starts with the specific lily pads to start off in a log, which no one can place onto for now. I'll show you what that does later. What you do is you play this card anywhere that's that you can't play it on a corner like this. It has to be adjacent, up, down, left, right of anything. So let's say I play it here. When I play this here, I get to take up to 2 actions. And for now, let's just focus on one of the 2 actions you could take, which is called deploy. So I have 2 of my guys. Now I can't play it on the card that I just placed, but I could play these 2 on any card that is in the same column or row of the card that I just played. In this case, it's just these 2 cards, but as it gets bigger, you'll have more options. Now I can't play any on here, and I can never place more than 2 on the same card during an action. So if I had more than 2 actions, I could still only place 2 here, and I have to place some here. You can place either a regular frog or a bullfrog. Each of the frogs count as 1 combat. Each of the bullfrogs count as 2. So right now I have 2 points of combat. If I had placed a bullfrog and a frog, I would have 2 points and 1 point, so 3 points of combat. Let's leave it like this. And now that's pretty much the end of my turn because we can't score. None of these lily pads score until all the circles of each one get filled up. And notice the card that I played here was my color, yellow. It would be the next player's turn. So let's say they play this here. Now they can deploy and go up any of the cards here or any of these 2 cards here. And maybe they decide to throw a bullfrog here, throw this here. And again, they have 3 actions. So let's talk about the 3rd action. So I did 2 actions so far. I placed 2 different frogs. I placed a bullfrog and I placed a regular frog. The other action you can do is sabotage, which essentially is taking any one of the frogs that's already on the lily pad and moving it to an adjacent one. So let's just say in this case I had gone here and I sabotaged this guy. That's my 3rd action. Action 1, action 2 was placing, action 3 was sabotaging and moving it to an adjacent lily pad. Now I have 1, 2, 3 power, and he only has 1. Nothing scores because nothing's full and would go to the next player's turn. So let's say the blue player plays here, because he's going to play anything on this side here. And let's say he's got 2 actions here. Let's say he goes 1, 2. Nothing still scores, so now it's back to the yellow player's turn. So the yellow player throws this card down, and he gets 3 actions because of the 3 lily pads. He can play on any row or column. And let's say he goes 1, 2, 3. Then he would draw a card from his deck to get back up to 3 cards. And then let's say it's the green player's turn, and they go here. Again, he has to play in this row, and he's got 2 actions that he can take. And let's say he goes there, and then maybe there. Now, it would stop now because it's time to score this. Anytime any lily pad gets full, it's time to score. Now let's look at this in more detail. At this time, we check who has the highest combat. remembering that the cubes are frogs and they're 1 point of combat, and the cylinders are bullfrogs and they're 2 points of combat. So obviously the yellow just has 1 point, blue has 2 points, and green has 2, 3, 4. So green would win this card and win this lily pad. And so what happens is the winning player will then go through a process of jumping the frogs off the lily pad before it sinks and is removed from the game. And it goes in this process order. First, he shall remove the frogs from opposite players, then bullfrogs from opposite players, then frogs of his own, and then bullfrogs of his own. Now, they move to any adjacent card. So you have 1, 2, 3 adjacent. So obviously there would never be more than 4 frogs/bullfrogs jumping off at any time. In this case, we only have 3. So it's their job to decide which one. Now, there's only 3 frogs here of opponents, so those are going to jump off. So he puts a blue over here because, hey, he wants blue to maybe fight yellow over here a little bit. And maybe he puts blue over here because yellow's winning and he doesn't want yellow to go on the log. And maybe he puts yellow there. Now, the rest of these, the frogs come off and go back into his supply. The bullfrog will actually be removed for the entire game and cannot be used again. And then this lily pad sinks. And by sinking, I mean he puts it in front of him for the end game scoring and he'll get the points that are on the card. Now, what would happen, let's just say if this card got removed later. Say this card had just finished and we did the scoring and it was gone. And then this card was here and it's not adjacent to anything. You would have to re-slide this in anywhere. Now, the person's choice who pretty much did the scoring can choose where to put this. As long as it's adjacent to any other card, it can be pretty much be moved in because there's got to be one big group after that. Now, this will continue till everybody has played all 10 of their lily pad cards. So everyone's going to get pretty much 10 turns. Then it's going to end. Then we're going to score the log. Now, remember, when we were placing things on the log, you can never place it on the log, and things can't, they can only pretty much be jumped there when things score. So different frogs will be on the log. And how this works is everyone is going to get 1 point for every frog they have on the log. So example 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for yellow, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 for blue, and 1, 2, 3 for green. Then everyone's going to get 2 points for every bullfrog they have there. Green's only 1, he'd get 2. Then you add up the power, the combat power. Green has 2, 3, 4, 5. Yellow has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Blue has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Blue has the most combat, so they will get 3 points for having the most combat. If they're tied for combat on the log, nobody gets the points. So you take the points you get from there, and you add them to your lily pad cards. And remember, if they're my color, if you have your own color, they're worth more than 1. So this is a 5, but it's really a 6. This is a 4, it's really a 5. And then you add up the face values of all the other ones. You take all those points, add on to the points you got off the log, and the one who has the most points is the winner. All right, well, there is Bullfrogs. So as you can see from the video, a few things going for this game. One, it's easy to teach. This is one of those games where you could bring people that don't typically play board games, and you could bring them into the room, mom, grandma, some friends that don't play. You can teach them this in like 2 minutes. It's very easy to teach, and I like games like that. You can teach it quickly, and then it plays pretty quickly as well. You know, it's a good filler game, 30 minutes. It's not going to overstay its welcome. So it teaches easy, it plays easy, but it also has, once you play it more and you learn all the different strategies, it's one of those games where it might look very simple on the surface, but the deeper you get into it, the more strategies you learn, and moving cards around and moving things to the log and almost forcing yourself to maybe get your guy on the log and things like that. So there's all sorts of interesting ways of mechanics of sliding things around and moving around, and those will develop over time. And I tend to like games that have, you know, a low barrier entry that I can play casually with my casual friends, but then when I play with my gamer friends, it's on. And so I like games like that, and this pretty much has that going with it. It's small, it's compact, it's going to fit into like what I like to call my backpack style games, where you can take it on a plane, you can take it on your backpack, you can pretty much take it anywhere. It's small enough to do that. So it's compact, it's easy to play, it's got some depth there, more than you think. It's a cool little combat strategy game. If this interests you, I know Thunderworks would love to have your support. It's on Kickstarter right now. You'll see a link coming up below me and here just a little bit. I'm sure they'd love your support. If so, just go on there, click on that link, and give them your pledge. Thanks very much. See you later.
Thanks for watching our review today. For more information about board games, as well as the #1 board game audio podcast, check out Dicetower.com for reviews, interviews, and more. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower.